Leni benye onílé lóko. Ẹ sì kú dédé àsìkò yìí. Hello everyone, it's Adironke again. I hope your day is going well. Today I'd like to talk about the word ago. Ago. And what it means and how it is used. If I was asked to define it very simply, I would say it's the statement that is uttered upon arriving at the entrance of a private area by Yoruba people. And the private area is typically a house. To politely announce one's arrival before going in, or politely announce one's intention to proceed with something one doesn't have the ultimate right to do. So, it's stated upon arriving at the entrance of a private area, typically a house, to politely announce one's arrival before being invited in, before going in, or politely announce one's intention to proceed with something. It's very well known, was what I found. Like when I was drafting this video, I was having, without even looking, I had so many songs in my mind that had ago in it. There is I think I scribbled some that people may be familiar with. There's Agolano, oh yale. I don't know if anybody knows that one. There's Agolano mojuba, Agolano. There's Ibaragbo, Ago mojuba, elegbara. Ibaragbo, Ago mojuba. Oh, ìbà ìṣòro kò ìbàràgò agómojúbà elégbà èṣù ọlọ́nà. There's trying to think of some. Agolano, ago èṣù. I think that one is from Trinidad and Tobago. There is Agonile, ṣé ká wọlé o, ago àlejò, ṣé ká máa bọ̀ ìyá ń bọ̀. There are so many. I'm pretty sure if I search Ago on YouTube, I would even have more. These were some that I remembered while drafting. The point is that there are so many songs that have Ago, and so it's important to know what it even means. You know, what one is saying when one says Ago. It's the most well-known Yoruba salutation in almost every non-African continent, and the slave trades, the transatlantic and the non-transatlantic, have a part in Ago being very well known. When you break Ago down, you know, the there is just a noun maker. It doesn't really have any special meaning. It's just what is placed in front of the verb to make it a noun. So it could be the act of, or it could be the person or thing that. The act of, or the person or thing that. Go is protrude or project, and what it means is to extend above or beyond a usual or expected place. That's what the project is, or protrude. When you're expected to be in a place but you protrude, you know, extend so to say, extend above or extend beyond the expected place or the usual place where you would typically be. That is what go is. Go is not used alone. Within the past 1,000 years, I would doubt it if people have used go very much or at all. We use it in other words. That's the thing with verbs, words like this that are used less until they go extinct. I think it happens with every language, that there are just certain words that people use less. I'm pretty sure less people use poppycock than they did in the 1600s, or when did the word even come? Maybe in the 1900s, you know. So there are some people still use them, you know, but there are some that just die out somehow. Anyway, that happened with go, and go is not the only word like that you don't necessarily find people using them as verbs anymore. But because our words are typically noun makers combined with verbs, or noun makers combined with adjectives, you see those words in longer words. So go is, you know, go. You know, that's how we named the animal, because I think that's the tallest if not the tallest and biggest bird. Their necks protrude. They are taller than the average bird. The ogo, the one who is tall is talling. It's kind of a fun way to say that they are tall. That's what ogongo means. And then gogongo is like saying the protruder is protruding. Gogo, where you repeat the verb twice to make it a noun. There's that way of making verbs nouns. Gogongo, the protruder is protruding. Again, it's just a funny way of saying that the Adam's apple, the prominentia laryngea, protrudes. And then agoro is what we call, giants. Anybody who is like really, really, really tall, or who has gigantism, we call them agoro. You won't hear a lot of people say, and these are just a few of the ones that I remember that have go in it. It's in more words than we give the word credit for. The point is, there are words like this that people tend to be confused about, because it's like, do people even use that word? What does it mean? But the tip is, find words, longer words that have that verb, and you will know exactly what it means. When you search and you have at least 10 words and you can say, okay, they seem to have all of these in common, that typically would be the meaning of verbs like that. Ago is essentially the act of protruding, or you could say the person or thing that protrudes. So it could be both at the same time. Ago. I find that verbs that, especially one syllabled verbs that carry the do tone, a lot of them have noun makers that start with do. I think I scribbled some as well. I like to do some scribbling in my jota. Not sure if I did actually, but there are words like agba, awe, we has the do tone, ba has the do tone, go in ago has the do tone. Thing is, I never knew where I write things. I just scribble everywhere. Asha, sha has the do tone. Akon in akomole or something. Alo, ajo. I actually had a longer, oh my goodness. I can't find it. But anyway. But essentially, there's several verbs that have the do tone, that have do as the noun maker. Agba, the one who receives. Ago, the person that, or the thing that, so the one who, or the one that protrudes, ago. So you could, if you're looking for a one word, should I say equivalent? I'm always nervous about saying equivalent because many times they're not equivalent. But one word version of ago in the English language, there's protrusion. Protrusion would be equal to ago, I think I can say. So when somebody says ago, onílé, it's their way of announcing that there's a protrusion about to happen. You don't have the ultimate right to go into somebody else's house. It's their private space. So the reason you say ago is because you're extending beyond the outdoors where you're supposed to be. Or the reason you say ago, when you greet everybody, agombio, you salute them that way, or is to not only honor them but announce one's intention to be part of that gathering, so to say. Protruder, inhabitants, it's like saying a protruder is coming, is entering inhabitants, or a protrusion is about to happen. Well, if you think of ago as protruder, if you think of it as protrusion, you could say a protrusion is about to happen, inhabitants. Protrusion, inhabitant. Onílé could be two things. It could be, because it's oni, the owner or the resident of ile, Onílé doesn't have to be the one who pays the mortgage, because we're so communal. And you say, you don't have to say this is my father's house or something. You can say this is our house. That's how we speak. Ilé wari, you know. Except you need to be specific. You know, you need to actually say that it's your father's house. You just say onílé. So we, apart from the landlord or landlady, the inhabitants of the house that are, especially since they would be responsible for taking care of it somehow, cleaning it, making sure it's tidy, they inhabit the place. Onílé would be inhabitant, not necessarily owner only. So Agonile, protruder is coming, inhabitant, or protruder or a protrusion is about to happen or is happening. If you're going in already, inhabitants, you're announcing your or someone else's presence / intention to proceed to the inhabitants of the place. Agonile, protrusion is about to happen. People in the house. So tidy yourselves and get ready to receive protrusion, you know, kind of. Or is our way of exclamating. So if you say Agonile, it's still fine, but we just like to emphasize words, I guess. So many times we put O, like, you know, it would be useful to include O in this case. I've explained why you would include O in this video. I encourage you to check it out. But it makes sense to include O because you want them to know that you're there and that they need to tidy themselves. It's like a, should I say it's a warning, but it's a call, so to say. Agonile, protruder is about to come in, inhabitants. And then you could also say Agonile, which is sort of different, I guess one could say. You could say Agonile to announce your or someone else's presence. Agonile is different because you're in the house already. Many times when you use Agonile, Agonile is announcing protrusion in this house or in this residence or in this place of habitation. It's like you're announcing yourself as a protruder that has come into the house. Or if it's not in that case, let's say everyone else is already seated, but you want to speak. Let's say it's a meeting that you're having in somebody else's house. Let's say, you know, women's meetings or something, and you want to speak. You could say Agonile, you know, I pay homage to everybody else, but I'm going to speak. I'm going to extend beyond. It's just a polite thing, you know. Nobody has the ultimate right to say certain things or to protrude in certain things. I'm trying to think, because in some cases it may not be necessary. It just depends on the kind of gathering that it is too. Particularly one in which, like, there are elders. You had to or something like that. There's actually one statement that it's just a way of emphasizing that it's really important to pay homage and take permission before proceeding with certain things. So anyway, announcing one's or someone else's presence or intention to proceed in a place of habitation or residence. So you're already there, but you want to announce your intention to proceed. Let's say you've come in. Let's say it's not the meeting case. You've come in. Maybe nobody was at the door, or maybe you're used to going in anyway, so you go in. At that point, you're just announcing your presence. Like, I'm already in here. I've already protruded. So I'm announcing that to anybody that may be around. There is Agolano as well. This one is in a lot of cantos and cantigas. And trying to think of one. Maybe Agolano, Yale, or maybe Agolano. It could be Agolano and it could be Agolano. Anyway, I've heard it. Agolano is a way of announcing one's or someone else's presence or intention to proceed to the owner or owners of the way or path. I think that's why there's a lot of Agolano in songs for issue. I think like somebody who is known to manage, but it could be any deity, right? Like path may not always be road, literally. Like even with issue, it's not always the physical road. There's always a path leading to a specific energy, right? So I guess it works for any deity, but it's a way of announcing one's presence or intention to proceed to the owners of the way or path. Agolano. Then you may hear Agolano, which is different from Oni or no, the owners, the people who are responsible for the path. It's different from Agolano. It's different from Agolano because Agolano would be a way of announcing one's or someone else's presence or intention to proceed to forces on the path and or people waiting to receive them. So it's like ni or no. Ni ile is in the house. They don't have to be the homeowners. They may just be visitors like you, or it could be a mixture of the homeowners and the home residents and the visitor and other visitors like you, and that would be Agonile. Agolano is somewhat similar in which it doesn't have to be the owner of the path that you're paying homage to. It could be the forces on the path or the people waiting to receive them. So when you say Agolano, for issue, it's a way of announcing that they are coming, that they are protruding. I think protrusion has this kind of rude thing too in the English language that is, maybe projection is less rude, but these words have certain vibrations with them. Protrusion sort of, when you use it for a person, it sort of has this pork nosing type feel to it. Typically when you even say you were about to protrude in the English language, you typically have to apologize. I'm sorry for protruding, or sorry I'm about to protrude, or something like that. It's typically something to apologize for. So just know that pork nosing energy doesn't transfer over to the Yoruba. That's why I said, are they equivalent or are they not? It doesn't transfer over, culturally speaking, things are different. It doesn't transfer over to the Yoruba scenario. So Agolano is, we're extending here, people on the way or people on the path. We are coming here, we are reaching here, me or Eshu, that is not necessarily even coming through you, but that you can sense coming anyway, or that you want to come. It really depends. There are many songs that have like either issues here energy or issues about to get here, or Agolano, you're paid homage to people on the way or path, on their way or on their path, on your way and their way. Since you're announcing that specific energy, you're paying homage to the forces that are on the path, whether you can see them or not, to the people that are waiting to receive them, or to the forces on the path, whether or not they are waiting to receive them. So there is that. And then the typical response, when especially with Agonile, the typical response would be agoyao. So I think some people say agoyao. I've heard that, but I don't know about that. Agoya seems to be the common thing. I don't know. Some people, I don't know what the extra emphasis is. Well, it's also a play on words, so that's correct as well. The protruder comes in, the agoya. But anyway, agoya would be protruder visits. Ya is to branch off. It has multiple meanings. It could be to branch off at a place or to visit a place. Ya mofe yaoja. Ati yabe, ya is to branch off at a place or to visit a place. It could also be to separate from or avoid or give way to. And this second meaning would be used very soon. You're about to see how homonymic this word is, but typically, yeah, would be like to, well, let me not say typically, because it's hard to tell which ones apply most or which ones people, which yeah people use, what people intend anyway when they say yeah. So let me not say one use is more popular than the other, but it's like branch of hair or visit here, come in, branch, come in, agoyao, protruder, visit, branch of hair, come in here, visit. So it's, if you want to make that into a statement, you could say we give way for protrusion. If you want to make agoya a statement, agoya, you could say again, you could say agoyao, you could say that, or you could just say agoya. So we give way for protrusion. You're allowed, you're permitted to protrude, to go on with the protrusion, or we give way to the protruder. Could also be that, agoya, protruder, visit, we give way to you. If you don't say agoya, you may say oh, but or it's just like a statement of acknowledgement. It's not necessarily like well, it's not informal either, but it's not necessarily a full statement of permission. Like you could use a statement of acknowledgement to indirectly give approval, but it's not as explicit, as clear as agoyao. That one is a full statement of yes, please feel free. The o there is like, we acknowledge. Well, it depends on the tone. When it comes to o, it always depends on the tone. Like I explained in this video, if they say oh, agonile o, agonibi o, agonibenye o. They say oh, with the tone would always let you know like how much you're being acknowledged, or how happy or excited the people you're referring to are to receive you, or to permit you to protrude, to go on. So anyway, you may also hear yago, which is just a bit different. It has ago in it, yago, and in this case it would be to give way. Ya ago, ya is to avoid or to separate yourself from or to give way to something. Ago would be protrusion. So the hairs, the honorific, you can leave it out if the person that you're referring to is one person that is younger than you or the same age as you. If you're talking to one person that is older than you or multiple people, you could say but I explained it in my video on honorifics, on the art of honorifics. I explained that age is not always a determining factor. If, let's say, the person you're referring to is a monarch, but they are 30 years younger than you still have to include because of their spiritual, political, and social position as a monarch. You still have to include despite the fact that they are younger than you, or maybe somebody that you're not familiar. Did I give all? Almost certain that I gave almost all the instances in which has to be included, even if the person that you're talking to is younger than you. So age is not always the ultimate determining factor. So anyway, yago fún mi is a way of saying avoid protrusion for me, or separate yourself from protrusion for me, or give way to protrude, sort of give way to me, so like excuse me, so to say, give way to me. It's like, let's say I just had like a core memory unlock when I was much younger, and I used to go to Bodija markets in Ibadan with my mother. They're typically these men that carry, I don't know if they still do it, these extremely heavy bags, almost like twice their size or something, or maybe about their sizes, and they would always scream Yago, Yago. That thing used to frighten me a lot, because I don't know, I just had the fear of what if I don't Yago quickly enough and they dump the bag on my head, So you may have heard that too. Yago. It's like avoid protrusion, or avoid me, or give way to me, or excuse me. You know. That's funny because that's like a memory I almost forgot that I had. Those men with the heavy bags. Yago, Yago, Yago. And people would have no choice but to like make sure they're cleared away from their path, because nobody wants them to dump the heavy bags on their heads. So yes, Yagos. Avoid protrusion. Separate yourself from protrusion. Excuse me. Also, there is, okay, this is just an example statement. Agolano, ni ono. Avoid protrusion or give way to protrusion on the way or on the path. Let's say, this one you would say, even those men could have said Yago. I guess that's a fuller statement. Nobody has the time for that. You could just say Yago and everybody would know what you're saying. But Agolano, give way to protrusion on the road or path. So sort of a way of saying excuse me. Give way to, I'm going to be protruding, because if you stay where you are, there's a chance that my shoulder may hit yours, or like in the case of the men lifting heavy bags, there's a chance that you may trip me, or it's just not going to work except somebody gives way. I'm going to be protruding. I can't say, in a place like a market, for example, I can't say there's a personal space, especially knowing how the Bodija market used to be. Especially when you go in, and not where they sell the biscuits and the simple things. When you go to the insides, where there's the meat and the, trying to see if I can remember, where there's the elubo and the inner. So anyway, I don't know if in that case there would be like a personal space. People just stand where they can, or people just stood where they could, but they are essentially saying, I'm going to be protruding into your space. Maybe my shoulder is going to be in your mouth, or my neck is going to be on your neck. I'm going to be protruding somehow. So give way to me. Excuse me. Separate yourself from me. Avoid me. Not avoid me in like a rude way, of course. Just like avoid me. It's rather polite. But again, there's a way that a person can say what is supposed to be a polite statement in an impolite way as well. Like tone always matters. Tone. You can make something as simple as modupe sound nasty if you use the wrong tone. Depends on how sharply you utter it. So anyway, ya agoniono is give way to protrusion on the road. Leave the road. Separate yourself from me, or from this part of the road that I may go across, or that I may maintain this space. If it's not that you want to go across or go beyond, if you just want that space for whatever reason, Yago. Or if you're walking down the path and there's Agolano, leave the path. There's going to be a protrusion happening, so leave the path. So that's essentially what Ago and Yago are. So now, if you hear that word in any song or any statement or any prayer like chant, you know exactly what it is. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day, and bye for now.